consultant. And then we're going to also then do some training. So we're kind of going to be doing a little walking party. And it'll be fun, I promise. So basically I wanted to start kind of like with my display. And I have a lot of different pieces, but this is generally kind of like how I set it up. And I usually do my tea parties one of 3 different ways. Sometimes I have a very small group of people, and when I have a small group of people, I want to put it in a small controlled spot. I don't want to put 5 people in a giant living room, right? So what I normally do is if they have a counter like this, I'll set them all up at the counter, and then I'll like make little place settings for them. And then I'll put my display right here. So I'll literally be doing my tea party just like how we're doing it right now. Normally, I always have my brew out. This is the brew, and I'll show you guys how to use this. This is a really nice piece, and I always kind of keep it up because I make a tea out of it, and then I'll serve that. Whereas with the rest of the teas, I have the guests make their tea so that they can get a chance to do it. And actually, I want to show you guys over here. I made up a table of kind of what I normally do for a tea party. And that's just that I make the place setting, and I'll have your cup sitting here with a spoon, and I'll have these ramekins. And on the table, I'll have, and I normally put more in here, but I ran out. So I'll have a ramekin full of the loose tea, and I'll have to start like a black tea and a green tea. So that way I'm kind of talking about the business a little bit, you know, where we kind of get started, you know, how Canada, we've been in Canada for 7 years, and now we're breaking out into the US, and we've been here almost a year. And I'll tell people kind of like the differences between our teas and blended tea or bag teas that you find in the store, and some of the different types of tea that you find, like your green teas and your black teas. And then I'll show everybody how, I'll say, okay, so now let me show you how to make the perfect cup of tea. So the way I do that is I'll say, okay, we're going to use our Brut. And this is one of my favorites. I kind of just talk while I'm making it, you know. I just say, like, this is one of my favorite teas. It's an herbal tea. It's part of our wellness collection. And normally I'm prepared with a teaspoon. Sorry. But the brew is 14 ounces, and you can actually get it to 16 ounces. So kind of like 14 ounces stops right here, but you can get it up higher. And the rule of thumb for our teas is 1 teaspoon per 8 ounces of water. So, and then I say, okay, so how much would that be? And then everybody says, 2 teaspoons. Yeah. So I go ahead and put my 2 teaspoons in here. And this is the hot yoga. So I say, there is cinnamon and cardamom and hawthorn leaves and flowers, ginger bits, cloves, black peppercorns, safflowers, and blue mallow flowers. So I kind of just go around, and then I have everybody smell it if they want to. And then I say, you know, this is a really spicy tea. It's really good for if you have an upset stomach or just kind of cleansing. And a lot of people really, really like it. It's called hot yoga. So then I'll make so then all you do is now you fill up the water in your brew, and you can kind of see how all the tea is just like floating around, and you're thinking, okay, I do not want to drink all of that. Well, you won't. So we're going to, this is about a 4-minute tea. It is, the wellness teas all are 4 minutes, about roughly. And then they don't have a bitter taste, whereas like a lot of the black teas and the green teas do. So you don't have to worry about the time as much. And then after I get done showing you guys how to make the perfect cup of tea, then I say, okay, now while this is steeping, I want you guys to make your own perfect cup of tea. So that's when they're all sitting down, and I pull out over here is where I kind of set this up. So steep tea sacks. So I always kind of use these because it's a good way to make their teas, and then they can, you know, throw this away. There isn't a whole lot of cleanup. But I say, okay, now there are two different types of tea. There's a black tea and a green tea, and you guys can choose whichever one you like. They're both 2-minute teas, and you're going to take your teaspoon and then put whatever one you want in there. It's 1 teaspoon per cup. So then they're actually making it, and I say, you can twist this, you can knot it, you can just fold it over, you can just, whatever you want to do, and then put it in your cup. So once everybody kind of picks their teas, and this is also a really good chance for them because as a guest, they're starting to talk, right? And they're starting to become engaged. And this is, I didn't always do my tea parties this way. I used to just serve the tea just how I did before. But I wanted people to become engaged more. So I said, okay, let's, you know, be interactive. And so they were. So now they're all like, which one did you get? Which one did you get? Which one did you get? Oh, let me smell it. So then I kind of go around with the water, and once I'm done, I come back and I set my timer. I just use my iPad. You can use your watch or whatever you like, your phone. And I talk for a couple more minutes maybe about the 2 teas that I have. These teas are really good for these reasons. These teas are really good for these reasons. And I also try to make sure that I'm not making claims to our company. I will make, I'll do testimonials from other customers. I'll say, you know, I have a customer who has a high sensitivity to caffeine, or I have a customer who says that they really like white tea because it has all these different antioxidants, or Dr. Oz says, you know, Rooibos tea is really good for cleansing, or whatever, but I personally don't, I try not to make, you know, those claims. And so then once the timer is done, I say, okay, ladies, now take your tea, or gentlemen, out of, and you could put it on your saucer, and then they all try it, and then they're chatting. They're like, oh, which, you know, yours is green, yours is black, yours is red, and they love how, like, the differences in them, and if people all have different teas, then they want to try each other's, or they want to say, oh, I want to make sure I try that one again, you know, or I want to make sure I try that one later. So while they're drinking their teas, I continue talking about different ways to steep your tea. So now you've seen the tea sacks, but you haven't seen really anything else. And I haven't served this yet. So this is kind of still sitting here. And I do the herbal tea on purpose because, like I said, it doesn't really have that full length of necessity of time that you have to take it out.
I didn't know how to do this, so I just took a picture of her foot. that took. All right, I just want to get a couple.
Way to break my
Is this only taking a picture of me?
You have to take it out.
No, you reverse it.
Sorry.
I'm like, it's only showing a red.
There.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, it's not.
Yeah.
I'm sure Chris can edit this part out for you.
The red is your finger.
Oh. Oh, there we go. Okay. Nope, it's just showing her picture I took.
Oy.
I'm sorry, I'm not very smart, so I don't do this stuff. Okay.
Okay, so then I kind of go into different ways to steep your tea. And I always talk about my favorites. And right now, our customer special for February is the bubble cup with the red bubble cup with the cinnamon hearts tea. So, and I say, whichever one I really want to kind of sell, you know, is the one that I talk about. And so this one right now is kind of one of the best ways to take your tea to go, not to go, but like around the house, you know, in a mug or in a glass cup. So this is kind of the best way to do that. So I say, all you have to do, this is perfect. I love this. It's durable, it's very lightweight, and it's cool to the touch on the outside, but it's hot on the inside, so it stays really nice. This is a stainless steel infuser, and all you do is you do the same thing as you do the brute. You take your 1 teaspoon. If you fill it up all the way, it's about 16 ounces. So you do 2 teaspoons. You put that in here. This is the infuser, and you can put the lid back on, and let it steep for however long that your bags say. All of your bags, I always say that they all have the steep time on them in the perfect directions. So this one, for instance, like if I just put the Cocoa Sweet Sencha in here, I would say this steep time is 2 minutes. And you can leave this on for the 2 minutes, and then when it's done, you take the lid and you put the infuser right in there, and then you have this as your cup. And in the summer, this is really nice. You can throw a straw in there, put some ice in it, and have an iced tea. And so it's really nice, and then I kind of just put this back together and say, here, would you like to touch it? And it's really nice, though, to have people touch it, because it puts it in their hand. It makes them want to feel it, and then it makes them think, like, oh, how would I like this if I were to purchase it? You know, I think that it helps with sales, and it helps get that party total up. Do you guys have any questions right now? No? No? Okay. So then I say to my guests, I say, okay, it looks like that you guys are, ready for another cup of tea. How would you like to see how this brewed and how it works? And they're all like, yeah. So, okay. Okay, so this is really cool. I'm going to use Ginger's cup. Normally this is a clean cup, but that's okay. So, all you have to do is you're like, okay, I definitely don't want this in here, so what do? So you take your brew, and you take your cup, and you put the brew right on top, and it kind of just comes out right like that. And this is hot. You can see the steam coming out, but it's going to be very cool to the touch. That's the nice thing about our Oslo teacups. And then also, this is insulated as well, so it's not very hot on the outside here. But if you open it, you'll see all the steam coming out, and it stays really hot for you on the inside. Who else would like to try our hot yoga? So, sometimes.
Yeah, that one you have to tip.
Sometimes I'll just use my finger and try.
Yeah, this one is, it has like a little lever on the bottom. And
it's
so
not working with the inside out.
the hearts work, but it's hard to get out because they're so oblong shaped.
Ah.
Yeah. Did you want to try this one?
Okay.
Oh. Yeah. How do you guys like the hot yoga?
It's good.
Yeah. Do you guys like it? Okay. So then I keep kind of just talking about some of the different things that we have. We have a lot of different ways to steep your tea, whether it be in water or lemonade. I use like sparkling water for the kids. Like, have this opportunity. A lot of the girls right now are just talking my ear off because they have a million questions, so it kind of fills up that time of while they're drinking their tea. So this is always a good time for them to kind of have a time to ask questions. And then after they kind of get done, I see that they're going down, and then I start talking about the next tea. So then what I do is those 2 ramekins, I take them all off the table, and behind me I have already set up another ramekin of rooibos and fruit. So I have a rooibos tea and a fruit tea. And those are both 4-minute teas, so it kind of goes along the same time frame, right? And then we steep that tea, and those teas are always fun because they're full of colors, like reds and pinks, and some of them even are like this brownish, like gold color, copper. Yeah. So those ones are always really fun, and they always have a ton of fruit. So the fruit pieces you can actually eat. I always say it's great for kids because you can add like the sparkling water, and it makes it kind of a soda without really being a soda. It's just kind of carbonated fruit beverage that they all can really enjoy. So after we've made, now they've had 3 cups of tea, I talk about a couple of the different programs, and I skipped this section right now, like the introduction, where I talk about initially having a party and thanking my hostess. I kind of skipped over all that because we're going to go all into that in detail in a little while. But I would have already mentioned the teaser program. I would have already mentioned in the beginning one of the great things that Belinda, as a hostess, is going to receive is our teaser program. And she will be receiving that for free when 2 of her friends have parties for her. So I would encourage you guys all to try and help Belinda out with that. She would love to, be able to get 6 months of tea for free. That's 2 bags of tea each, and with a recipe card each month. And so that's kind of at the beginning. I talk about that, and then after the 3rd tea, I go back to it. I say, okay, now I want to just talk about a couple of the different programs we have with Steep Tea. And one is the teaser program, which I spoke to you about earlier, and then I kind of describe it more in detail. I'll say, you get this 2 teas shipped directly to your house every single month. It's awesome. You can purchase that, or you can get it for yourself when you book a party. So there's that little seed, right? You planted it kind of for a second time. And then I say, and it comes with an awesome recipe card with both different teas on there, different ways to make cocktails out of it, different ways to cook with it, steep lemonade in it, and it's really fun. And then the other one we have, and I always kind of have the brute sitting on this, is our collections. And our collections are really nice because we don't have these, you don't have to choose all of the teas that you want. You can take home a variety. So I say these are 6 miniature bags of tea. They're 25 grams each, or 0.88 ounces, and you get about 25 cups of tea out of each one of them. And so there are 6 in each box, and they're all different. And you can, in the catalog, you'll be able to see that there's 8 different collections. And it also comes with an infuser ball to steep your tea. Yeah, and it comes with a teaspoon scoop, which is not this. All my teaspoons I took out. Because normally, what I've been doing is I've been putting my teaspoons, like the little plastic ones that come in the collection, inside each ramekin. So I'm not using a ton of my hostess's products, you know what I'm saying? So it just kind of depends. That's where my little teaspoon is right now. But I say the collections are great if you want to buy for a gift, if you want a variety, if you're a tea enthusiast, or if you're new to tea and you want just a variety, if you're so overwhelmed by all 93 of our flavors, you're thinking, where do I even start? The tea collections are a great way to start. And I like to pair them with, and I always say this, I like to pair them with the bubble cup, because then you can have the bubble cup and then you'll be able to use the infuser for a friend. And we are all about sharing our tea. And so then I say, and I've already kind of said this at the beginning, again in my introduction, but I'll say that with the purchase of both of these, you'll hit your $50 mark, and you'll get the pink hibiscus tea for free, which is an awesome tea. And every month we have a tea of the month for free with a $50 purchase.
And what size is the tea that they get for free?
It is, we have 2 bags in our line. We have the black bags, which are 50-gram bags, or 1.75 ounces. They hold about 50 cups of tea. That's the one that you get with your free tea. And then we also have our silver bags, which are 100-gram bags, and they hold about 100 cups of tea. And they always mention that once they're looking at the catalog at that point, I always mention, the difference in price point is only a few dollars. So if there is a tea that you really like, I would consider just getting the larger bag, and you'll have it for a little bit longer. And I can get most people that way. Most people are like, oh, okay, that's a no-brainer, So they like the larger bag. But then the smaller one, the 50-gram bag tea, is also the same one that you would get in the teaser program. Yeah, this is the 50-gram bag is the teaser, or the 1.75.
Once you open the bag, how long is it good for?
About a year.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the bags are really nice. They're super thick. You can kind of, this one is empty, so you can kind of like feel, but it's like really thick. So the tea is very contained. And then we also have tea tins. If customers want to put their tea in tins, they're becoming really popular as well. Yeah, that one's one of my favorites. That's on the table if you guys want to try it.
When they brew a pot of tea, how long can you leave them like sitting on the counter for?
Sure. Okay, so this.
So sure, I'll get asked that.
Yeah, sure. So this teapot, I brewed it about an hour and a half ago, maybe a little less than an hour and a half ago, and you can feel it. It's still like super hot. It stays hot for over 2 hours.
Okay. But like, I'm just saying for like
Like
if I leave it
quality
out for the rest of the night. Yeah, yeah. For
Yeah.
like to be safe to drink. Like if I leave it out till tomorrow, can I still drink my tea, or do I have to? I mean, obviously, put it in the refrigerator. That'll prolong, probably, but have it around.
You know
But
what?
How long can you leave it out?
I have left it out for a very long time.
Yeah.
I've never had any problems with it, and I've been to events where we've had it out all day long and then thrown ice in it, and then after it's cooled off, like make iced tea out of it. So I've never had a problem having, keeping the tea, good. And then of course, like you said, you can throw it in a pitcher, or sometimes I'll just throw my whole pot after it cools down. I'll just throw it in the fridge and let it go overnight, and then we'll pull it back out in the morning and heat it up, or throw, it's already cold, so just drink it cold. So however you like it. My cinnamon hearts, I do not like to waste any of it. So I'll just keep drinking it. If I have to put it in the fridge overnight, I will, and then I'll heat it up in the morning. I absolutely love it.
How would you describe it?
The cinnamon hearts? Describe it?
Like
It's like heaven in my mouth.
It is like,
I mean,
it is like red
obviously
hot.
cinnamon-
Yes.
It's like drinking red hot.
Yeah.
Cinnamon
Really?
red
Oh,
hot.
okay.
So it has cinnamon sticks and cassia Bix. That's the only thing that's in there. And the black, the Pu'er tea. Yeah. I think I have it over here. So one of the other things that I do is some people like to have sniffer jars or little samples, different things that they can put their tea in, and so that it's in a smaller quantity, so it doesn't take up as much space. And this is just from like the consultant perspective, right? But so I was using those for a very long time. I was using the little jars. I got them at Joann Fabrics. You can find plastic ones, you can find glass ones. There's just like little favor jars, for a wedding or a shower. But what I was finding was that everybody wanted to taste the teas. And in a little jar, only this big, you only have like a teaspoon or less of the tea. And so I'm thinking, okay, I can either say, no, I don't have this, or maybe I have it in a bag that I brought because you guys are tasting it, but no, it's just in this little jar. So I just started carrying all my teas with me, and I carry them in a 31 bag, well, in any bag, really. Mine just so happens to be 31. But I carry it in a little bag, and what I actually do is we have the steep tea grocery bags. So I've labeled each grocery bag, like 6 of them: green teas, black teas, rooibos teas, white teas. And I take all my teas and I kind of divide them up, and I just throw them in there, and then they all fit in that one bag, and it's only this big. But because I've put them in a different bag first, so then when I get to my party, I set them all out. And after the party, I say, okay, ladies and gentlemen, all my teas are here. I have all the teas here. And once you get the catalog, if there's a tea that you want to try, now you know how to make your tea because we've done it twice. And so you guys can get up. If there's a tea that you want to try, feel free to make it. I have hot water that's boiling, or if you would like, I can do it for you. So then they're really kind of excited about that, and they want to. And once the catalogs kind of do come out, then they are all, oh, do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this? And I'm like, yep. So either I end up, some crowds, they'll just sit here and they'll want you to do everything for them. And other crowds, they'll just be up on their feet, they'll be getting into it, they'll want to play. I have had ladies like sitting on the floor in the living room going through all my teas, you know, because it's just fun. But I am telling you that my sales have gone up and I'm getting more people wanting to book parties because they are more engaged. When it's just like this and it's just presentation-y and it's like they're not getting to talk, they're not getting to interact, then they're like, okay, why would I want to do this, right? So I'm getting people engaged by interacting. So at the end, before I'm done, well, I go through my booking and recruiting talk like hardcore. And, well, I'm not going to do that right this second. We'll do it over there. But I do have like some really cool things I have to say. But one of the things that I do, I don't think I have any in here. Sorry. At each seat, everybody gets, and everybody does this differently. This is just how I do it. And so I give everybody a pen. Sometimes I forget the pen. The pen is important. So I give everybody this, and then at the beginning of the party. And I say, okay, you guys can go through it. I don't really talk about it at the beginning of the party. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But in depth, I don't really talk about it in the beginning. So at the end, though, I say, okay, ladies, can you grab, before we hand out the catalogs, I never hand out catalogs in the beginning of the party. And so before we hand out the catalogs, let me go through this packet with you. So they'll all grab it, and I'll say, okay, the first piece that you have is your party brochure, and this is for you to take home, because if you want them to take your catalogs home, that's fine. If you don't want to take them to take your catalogs home, that's also fine. Either way, I don't generally tell people, okay, please leave the catalogs here, you know what I mean? So I just always say, this is for you to take home.
What is that?
That way they know that they can take it home.
I think I got that.
So those didn't come in your kit. Those are separate. Those are extra. You can order them. And so on the left, on the inside, so I always talk. So on the inside left, it's all about sharing with your friends and hosting a stew tea party. And ladies, who wouldn't want to host a stew tea party? And then on the right, there's everything about sharing the opportunity and earning an income, either part-time or full-time. And then on the back is just some fun facts. For instance, did you know that tea is the second most popular beverage, second to water? And I'll say, oh my God, I did not know that. So, and then I say, okay, I skipped this piece right here. But I'll say, this is our order form. And ladies, I would love to help, and gentlemen, I would love to help you fill this out. So all of your teas go on the left, and all of your teacups, your teapots, and the rest of your hardware go on the right, because it's non-taxed and then taxed. So each state is different with their rules. Michigan has, we don't tax food. Indiana.
Some things yes, some things no.
Right.
It's weird.
It's weird.
Yeah, and I haven't got that down yet, but I'll have to.
Yeah, and we'll help you out with that. So I say, okay, so let me help you with that. And then the third piece is our door prize sheet. You can call it a door prize slip. You can call it an information sheet. There's different I've had this done different ways. I might change it again. I'm not one to generally give out extra gifts because they're getting so much. If I feel so inclined, like if they did a lot of work, for the party, or if they've got, a bunch of bookings, I might give out a hostess gift, or if I'm thinking or I might give out like a door prize gift for people who came. I don't always do it. In fact, I don't generally do it.
In the past, my parties, I other companies, I typically don't either.
Yeah.
Not if our hostess program and our gifts
Right.
are so generous by the company.
Exactly.
So, and I think that sets up a good standard for our future people on our team to show them we don't have to put out a lot of money to get stuff back.
Sure.
And I
Yeah.
don't want to do that one party in front of everybody and then go to their friends and a friend and then they're like, well,
Right.
she gave out at the last. Like, I might do it on the side, give the hostess something
Exactly.
where nobody really sees it afterwards or whatever.
If you
But I
do
don't-
decide to do a door prize, in your business supplies, there's a little pack of 10 different teas, or it's 5 different teas. You get 2 each in it. A pack of 10 for like $3.50, which makes them about 35 cents
so
for a
it's
bag,
not-
and they're in cellophane.
Okay.
Or,
Um,
the sample packs.
They're little tiny 1 cup of tea.
Well, that would be bad.
Okay, and so that's 35 cents. So if
Yeah.
you did a little door prize, we suggest do that with 1 honey stick, and just tie together a little ribbon, and
cute.
that's
Oh,
a
that's a
gift.
good idea.
Yeah,
And
I like
so
that.
you-
It's minimal.
That is
Yeah.
under $1,
Right.
and it's still a little door prize, and then people get to see the honey stick, and at the same time they'll get to take home a little thing of tea. So that is why we actually came out with those little boxes of samples,
Okay.
because I was trying to find something for you guys that would be a door prize that would be under $1. So that makes those 35 cents each.
That's good.
That is good.
And then you can also, because they're in cellophane, right? We only have 10 different flavors, or 5 different flavors right now that those are in, but eventually we may have more of those. But because they're in cellophane, you could also staple your business card, leave that as a tip to somebody, because they're health-wise, they're secured, they're sealed. So it's just a fun thing you can do with those. So that's on your business office supplies.
That's a good idea. Thank you.
And we're gonna go through once we plug the computer back in. I didn't even realize it was unplugged. No, but I can go through the back office with any of you who are like freaking out about it or want to know more or haven't even gotten a chance to go on there yet. It's not very difficult. So once you kind of get the hang of it, it just runs smoothly. You kind of just remember where to go. But at any rate, so this is the last piece of my little packet that I hand out, and this is my door prize slip, and it has the name, phone number, and email on it. And then I wrote 4 questions. And this is where I do like hardcore booking recruiting. I mean, I always plant like seeds, like I was saying throughout. And when I talk about, because let me back up. When I'm pouring the hot water, I normally pour it out of my stainless steel teapot, which you all received, and many of you received the glass teapot also. And so it has, I told all about the features in here. So then I might mention that you can get this half off or even for free by hosting a party. So there's another little seed planted there. But my 4 questions are, and I wrote, do you love our loose teas? Write your favorites on the back. If there are any teas that you tasted today that you are just in love with, or you're going through the catalog and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I want these teas, but maybe you can't get them today, write them on the back. And that also gives you a way to follow up with them at the end when you're checking them out and saying, did you get all the teas that you liked or that you wanted today? Because were you able to get all the teas on your list? And this is their list. Right? So you can say, oh, I see that you wanted this one. Oh my gosh, it's so good. And it kind of just gives you a little bit of a relationship with them. And it leads into number 2, which is, I wrote, do you want to come steep with me, earn a shopping spree, relax with friends, and get the teaser program for free? And then I kind of just say, ladies, this is such a wonderful opportunity. It's so much fun. Look, you had so much fun today, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah. Like really, who wouldn't want to have a steep tea party? And you get a wonderful shopping spree. Your guests will love it, as you all are guests right now, and you guys love it, don't you? Yeah. And so I say, so that's how your guests will feel, same way that you're feeling right now. Just you're relaxing and you're enjoying your tea with friends, and then you're going to be able to get some products for free with your purchases. And it's just a really fun way, and it's different. It's tea, and that's what I kind of talked about at the beginning. Our tea parties are so different. There's nothing else like them out there. And then it kind of just gets them in. Please consider, just check yes on number 2, and I'd love to have a tea party with you. So, and then number 3 says, would you like help planning for a vacation or eliminating one of your bills every month? And this is where I just kind of talk about, I talk about how I do this part-time, and I have a couple other jobs, on the side as well. I have a daughter who I'm with 100% of the time. And so for me, this is a way that I can pay for our vacation, help pay for my Costa Rica trip, which is going to be free, but help pay for my Disney vacation, help, take away that consumer's energy bill that you don't want to have every month. And it doesn't have to be a full-time career. It can be a part-time hobby, or it can just be fun for you to be able to get your tea fixed every single month. And man, this opportunity is so much fun. We have hardly any consultants in the U.S. There's only 300, and less of them are active. And there are some states with no consultants still. So the company is wide open for you. It's a huge opportunity, and we're only barely making ground. So please consider, check us on number 4, and I would love to send you home with some more information. Or number 3, sorry. And then number 4 says, do you want to get my latest updates once a month and learn more about Steep Tea? And that is your newsletter. That's your online newsletter that gets sent out once a month. And that your tea talk. So you can just get the latest updates. We don't send out emails more than once a month, so they don't have to worry about, getting so cluttered. And then I'm done. So then I pass out my catalogs and we shop. Now, the reason why I wait till later to pass out my catalogs is mainly because, well, I'll just tell you. Yesterday, I had a tea party, and I was in not a huge rush, but I had to be somewhere afterward. My sister was in a play, and we had dinner reservations. And so I'm like, I only had 2 hours, and normally I get to my party, and I'm setting up, and they're shopping, and like at the end of it can be like 3 hours later, you're like finally leaving. So I'm like, man, I gotta be out of here. So I go through the whole thing, and I talked just like this. I didn't like speed talk or anything, but what I did differently is I passed the catalogs out at the beginning, because I was thinking, what is one step that I can eliminate that will still get my sales in, but allow me to kind of